gẹ́gẹ́ bí olóòtú lè ní pẹ̀lú Utmandam Bakare tó wà lẹ́yìn náà yẹn. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa tá wà níbí. I thank everybody. I think I'm going to speak in English because like you all know, Omo Abamieda Seun Kuti is a living fact of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Baba himself. And if we can see, he's been on, practically active, in the happenings. Though a singer, but we know he's an activist. He's been able to do a couple of times. Though we won't call him a gentleman. The father himself never called himself a gentleman. But was a philosopher. He was a prophet. Now, we're having somebody still representing him. I thank you too, our ambassador, how do you say it in English? Our sister and evangelist, Temitokwe. Thank you very much for honoring our Oba Adekunle Romu, Oba Ogboni. Thank you very much. Our representative, Egbe Omo-Oduwa, the president of the Nigerian community, Dr. Oluwatui, àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìlànà Omo-Oduwa of Professor Akintoye, Prince Ayotunde, we welcome you. And também podemos, até quem só de dia, podemos também agradecer a presença da nossa, né? Não acho uma palavra melhor para agradecer a presença sempre da nossa Adriana Queiroz Eloy, uma pessoa, assim, não sei se eu posso falar que ela é nigeriana, né? Que é africana, porque tem que estar conosco. Seja bem-vinda.
Obrigada.
We will,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friends. I need to access my English, but I'm not speaking English very well. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. So as we continue, I'm very sure we will be receiving more participants when they were here. But for the fact that we are starting a little bit late, we can't blame the guest. We know it's somebody very, very busy. We thank him a lot for having his time to at least to speak with us. Thank you very much. So, as normal, we need prayer, and I'm going to give the honor to Oba Adekunle Romu, but I will beg my Excellency Kabiyesi to shorten it a bit, knowing that not all of us are Orisheshi. Some will run when they hear some will run when they hear it's too much Orisheshi.
So good afternoon, our beloved Seun Kuti. I don't call you a gentleman before, but Baba say you know be gentleman at all. So
thank you very much,
I will still call you a gentleman. So you are most welcome to Brazil in this our forum. We love you. We cherish you. We can see your activities in Nigeria, what you have been doing to make the nation well, and some of the social activities you have been doing. That's why we are all here to hear you and listen to you, your view about Brazil. But before all, I want to do a kind of little prayer for our ancestors. Like your father always believed in our ancestors, is the one that most believe, and we all love him before he passed away. So I will prefer to do the prayer in Yoruba, our language, not in English. So I will first of all say Olódùmarè Ìbà. Olódùmarè Ìbà o. Ọlọ́jọ́ ò ní ìbà. Ọlọ́jọ́ ò ní ìbà o. Ifá mojúbà ti yín o. Èṣù láàlú ògiri òpó àṣebà. Àjúbà àti yín, àjúbà àkọ́dá àjúbà àṣẹ̀dá, gbogbo ń ta wá ṣe níbí ní èní yìí. Kí kó má hùn wá o. Àwísọ wà ní òkè òkun káríbá ti ṣe kárọ̀nà gbígbà. Kí lè má gbé wa kọ́nà má nà wá, kí ọ̀dàrà kó má darí wa sọ́nù o. Kí gbogbo wa ká kó èrè oko délé o. Ká kó èrè oko délé. Ká mórí délé, ká má kó kọ́nà bí èéfín. Gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìlú Nàìjíríà. Kí Olódùmarè kó bá kó gbogbo nǹkan tí ò dá kó bá kó lọ kó lórílẹ̀-èdè wa o. Kí inú wa kó wá dùn, kí gbígbá dé o. I will thank you, we love you, and we pray Olódùmarè will bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ọba Eboni Kábíyèsí Adékúnlé Adéròmú. Thank you very much. Before I attend any questions from anybody, I will ask our guest to give a welcoming, at least tell us something first.
Well, I don't know what.
Just say, something. Say something. Say something.
Well,
you
did not ask me to prepare.
Tell us a bit about yourself. How about yourself? Share, we know share.
I will try and come up with something.
We know share is
okay.
Baba, Abamieda, Omo Abamieda.
my name is Shewaniko Amokusi, I guess. I'm 38. My daughter's name is Adara. I've been to Brazil a few times. I've been to a lot of cities in Brazil. I've been to Rio, I've been to Sao Paulo, I've been to Belo Horizonte, I've been to Porto Alegre, I've been to Salvador de Bahia. I'm missing some more places. I've been to quite a few places in Brazil while touring my previous albums. And I also like Brazil because of its own rich history with African people who have been able to keep a lot of their traditions, and that African traditional systems are still very vibrant and visible in Brazil, you know. So yeah, what else can I say? And to say, you know, like being a gentleman also is not something to be proud of, you know. When Europeans call themselves gentlemen, it simply means you are the man that can be the most evil and still look gentle, you know. I think being African men is better than being gentlemen, you know, because if you check the history of the world, it's filled with gentlemen doing evil things.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will be adding some Yoruba, you know, as like you have said, Brazil is another Africa out of Africa. You know, Adi Yinka Olaya, Adi Yinka Olaya, this is another important person we are receiving today, like we received others.
Thank you.
Shion has been here, Shura has been here, Monica Kamfo has been here, Professor Wandia Imbola has been here, and then we have a couple of number of important guests, you know. This is Ade Yinka Olaya, Mojuba Motujumilo, Auntie Mojulo, Mojuba Yin, Mojuba Koda, Mojuba Isheda,
Basheo,
Jojuasheo. ọmọ yín ni mí o. Olumi is Utmandan Bakari. Ekun Okokokoro. Don't forget go back. He's with me. Is my co-moderator. Is here with us. A lover of Sheun's music. In fact, we are all just to let you know, it hasn't been easy bringing Sheun here. I went as far as packing him down there. So let's move ahead. Our medical doctor in Brazil, also is the president of the Nigerian community in Brazil, sent a special audio voice message to me. He requested to ask the very first question. And please mute your mics. And he's not a gentleman, but don't come and ask him questions that will allow him to tell you he's really not a gentleman. Please, let's put that in our, if you can see his video, he said it quite right. She will not agree. If you come like Willie, you will give like Willie. If you come like gentle, so make you know as we take talk. So our Dr. Oluwatoyi, over to you, sir. Dr. Oluwatoyi, unmute yourself, sir. Unmute your mic. Just a minute.
Dr. Oluwatoyi, we can't hear you. Sheun cannot hear you, and you seem to be muted.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please go on.
Okay.
Yeah. We are hearing you,
so,
sir.
Mr. Sheun, once again, I welcome you to this forum. As I have previously introduced myself, I knew your father personally in 1978 during a political meeting in Ikorodu. So I started cherishing him as an idol. Today, I have all his collections in music. After leaving Nigeria 39 years ago, I still hear your father's music. I want to request musicians, current musicians in Nigeria, unlike your father, are sending to Nigerians from your father's music. The injustice that is happening in Nigeria, he has predicted that 40-something years ago, but we refuse to listen to him. So what is your vision today about Nigeria and Nigeria? Your political vision and your artistic vision as regards to the demand for the vision of Nigeria. Thank you very much. Hello?
Sheun, you are muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I mean, for me, the issue about the division of Nigeria.
You are muted, Sheun.
I've unmuted it again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll start again. The discussion about Nigeria's division is not new. This has been an underlying discussion in the political conversation about Nigeria, even before independence. You know, and what is quite interesting is the decline in the quality of the arguments as time has gone on. So in the 1950s and 60s, when we got our independence in the 60s, you know, the argument about the division of Nigeria, even though it was quite a hot issue, it was discussed, you know, practically. It was discussed with sense. It was discussed intellectually. You know, because I believe that nation building, you know, is an intellectual act. You know, it is not an act that you perform on the streets. It's an act that both men and women who are willing to go above and beyond the majority of their brothers and sisters are willing to sit down and come up with, you know, and that is the hardest kind of work. But I'm realizing now that, you know, just as everything in Africa has deteriorated, this discussion about how Africans should perceive themselves or see themselves in the world has become quite primitive in its contestations. You know, where African people are saying, oh, it's Fulani people that is holding us down in Africa, in Nigeria. I mean, this is such a childish statement, you know, to say Fulani people are the ones holding Yoruba people back. You know, and I feel like it is also statements made by those who are trying to also further divide African people, you know. The intellectual discussion that should be about nation building in Africa has not been had and is not being had. What is being had right now in my country is about how to hate your brothers and sisters. You know, the problem with Nigeria is not the Fulani people, it's not the Yoruba people. The problem with Nigeria is not the Igbo person, it's not the Ife person. The problem with Nigeria is the relationship that the elite of Nigeria has with Nigeria's resources and its people. That is the problem with Nigeria. The elite of Nigeria have a toxic relationship with their people and the resources of their country. So whether these elites are from the north, whether they are from the southwest, whether they are from the south-south, whether they are from the southeast, they operate in the same manner, being that their descendants, majority of them are either direct descendants of slave traders or they are agents. And these people for the past half a millennia, which is 500 years, have known nothing but how to sell Africa just to go and buy foreign things. So in the time of their ancestors, they were willing to sell their brothers and sisters because of mirror, gin, whatever it is that white men made. Today, they are selling their brothers and sisters for Rolls Royce and Gucci and champagne, you know, same thing, different time. And if we're going to discuss about the issues of Nigeria, if we're going to discuss about the serious issues that affect our nation, we're not going to start from the Fulani man being the problem of Nigeria. You know, we're going to first of all start about how our country is over 74% foreign owned. You know, and this is the part of the narrative that I'm surprised has never come up. You know, how is the Fulani man more a danger to Nigeria than the British man and his so-called foreign investment? Because these same people that continue to call for Nigeria to divide, I find that they quickly run to America, and run to Europe, and run to England, you know, or call on the United Nations and the International Criminal Court, as if these are countries or institutions that respect African people. You understand? If our country is 74% foreign owned, then that is the problem of our country right there economically. It means that economically, Nigerians do not have access to all the benefits of their country. You know, I mean, we must attack and also strategize around our problems in Nigeria from a factual point of view, not just from our emotions, you know. So my own political vision for Nigeria is one where we can understand the narrative of our suffering from our own perspective, not the perspective of the elite. You know, and if you look at this problem that is dividing Nigeria today, it started from headsmen and farmers. You know, who are the headsmen? Who are the farmers? Nigeria elites. Because like poor Nigerian people cannot afford the meat. Even hardworking Nigerian people cannot afford the meat. Poor Nigerian people cannot afford food. Working Nigerian people cannot afford food. Food prices are skyrocketing every day. The farmers of Nigeria care more about their profits than about feeding their people. People are growing food to create hunger in our country. You know, how can you be growing food that your own people cannot afford? You know, how can there be people in Nigeria that cannot afford food that is grown on Nigerian soil? These are the questions I want to ask farmers. I want to ask the so-called headsmen, you know, why we still have headsmen in 2021. You know, they say it's their tradition. And I say, if it is your tradition, why don't you ask your kids to work with it? Don't your kids want to practice tradition too? And, you know, people start looking at me and they don't have answers. Because this is truly an elitist agenda that deflects the people of Nigeria from what truly affects us. Our inability to afford food and feed ourselves. Our inability to educate our children. Our inability to move around on safe roads. You know, because these elites, all they want you to do is to believe that someone is stopping you from buying Jeep. Because if you can buy Jeep, what is the problem with bad roads? It is somebody that is stopping you from having money to pay school fees. Because if you can pay school fees, what is your problem with public schools? You know, it is somebody that is stopping you from, you know, having money to drink champagne. Because if you can be drunk all day and have a good time, who cares about the people that are being slapped and whipped and thrown into jail without, what's it called, without due process or even their day in court? You know, so for me, this is not about dividing Nigeria. It's about changing the narrative and how Nigerian people see themselves in a relationship to their own resources and their elites. You understand? I mean, what is Nigeria? When we agitate for a Yoruba nation, the first question we have to ask ourselves is, how is the Yoruba nation going to feed itself? First question, is the Yoruba nation food sufficient, or we want to divide and they start to beg UN to borrow us money to go and buy rice from Brazil? Is that the plan? That we start our new nation in debt? How will Yoruba nation power itself? How many refineries do we have in Yoruba land? You know, somebody that said we have, you know, one of the Yoruba nation agitators attacked. So we have one refinery in Yoruba land, a Dangote refinery. I said, but that's a Fulani man. Did you say you are going to kill all Fulani people or something like that? You know, so all these things don't make sense to me. You know, if anybody is going to give me, I'm not somebody that is dragged along the bandwagon. You know, you have to make it make sense. And that is the least that Nigerian people deserve. We as African people must no longer be treated as cannon fodder to just go and die in somebody's idea. You know, the way Akintola and Remi Femi Fani-Kayode's father killed hundreds of thousands of Yoruba people, you know, for their political ambition. You know, and they are bringing back this system because, like, African people don't mean anything to them. African lives mean nothing to them. All these Nigerian politicians, if they blow a bomb in Paris and 3 people die, all of them change their flag. Their people are dying every day. You don't hear them say, pray for Jos, pray for Benue. You know, Nigerian politician status says pray for Benue or Jos right now with all the atrocities happening there, you know. So I think African people deserve to be respected enough not to be treated as if their life can just be wasting over somebody's idea. Any idea that comes to anybody's mind is what African people's lives. So yeah, that's my vision regarding the division and my political vision for Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Akim. But you are yet to answer my other 2 questions.
Maybe I didn't hear them.
The question is that.
What was that?
Yeah, the second question is that during the generation of your father, we used to receive good messages from him, educational messages.
Okay.
In the current musicians in Nigeria, what messages are they sending to the people to absorb? As I said earlier, I learned a lot from your father's music. The love to love your land, the love to get self-esteem, So all this message was so strong in my mind today, even after 40 years. In your current generation, what messages are you sending to our people? Yeah.
What is the other one, sir? Is that they said 2 questions. So what's the other one?
Other question, you have answered everything.
Okay.
And the you have answered them in one. But now, from the view of Fela Kuti, like Sonu Kosu, like Rex Longson, like Fiton Wafo, those people, they send messages, political consciousness to our people. Yeah.
Well, in my generation too, there are quite a few artists that send conscious messages to their people. I mean, one of them is Seun Anikulapo Kuti. I think if you concentrate yourself on listening to Seun's music, if you like positive message, you know, and ignore the rest things that don't concern you or that you don't like, you know, because I can only speak for what I do as an artist. I cannot talk about other people, you know, because I have no influence over their decision or how they want to be or who they want to be. And also, I'm not from the school of thought where I judge people for making their own decisions, you know, in life. I feel as human beings, we must be allowed to be who we want to be, you know, and I am who I am. And I believe so yeah, that's it for me. You know, I cannot speak for other people. I can only speak for myself and what I'm trying to do. You know, so if you want some nice, positive, uplifting message, listen to my music.
Please try to send me some copies.
I will. You know, like you don't go into a strip club and expect to hear gospel music. You know, so if you want gospel music, go to church. You know. So if you want some. Or more. Guys, I really
Yinka, you are muted. You're trying to talk, but you're muted.
Hello.
Oh, wow. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can hear me now. Adriana, eu vou tentar representar isso em português depois. Só um instante. You know, the situation is a bit because we got a bit you know, we started late actually. I will use this opportunity to welcome Ms. Prince Ayotunde of Ilana Modua from the US is with us here. It's the covering with the
Hello, I'm here.
Man, are you hearing us?
I can hear.
I can hear you.
Okay. I think please. You raised your for a question there. You have a question? But please,
yes, I do have.
Wait. Before we go, just a minute. I'll call. You know, a number of us here are comrades. Some of us are in support of One Nigeria, while some of us are in support of Dudua Nation, whatever. Well, respect.
Stuff like
please let us respect ourselves while we ask questions. So, please.
Yes.
Please, Ayotunde.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay. My greetings to everybody that is in this forum this evening, especially our special guest, Shehu Kuti, who used to be let me just remember. I want to retract back to, I think it was 1987 or 88 when Fela went to, I think it was England or France, and Shehu was singing inside the bus while Fela Kuti was playing in the hall. Well, I live in Moshalashi, close to Idioro, between Idioro and Ujuelegba, so I know you very well, but we have never met. My question is going to be a probing question. Have you actually contrast between the government setting of Nigeria and the killings at the same time, most especially with the penetration of the Fulanis into the southwest and other part of Nigeria? Have you really seen all the strategy whereby Fulani are taking all the ministries in Nigeria, including finance, education, security, what is that? A lot of places now. A new chief executive officer was appointed as the NNPC chairman, or CEO or managing director, who also happened to be a Fulani person. Have you?
When Jonathan was president, who was chairman of NNPC? Well,
that was Maduke.
Where is she from? She's from the north.
No, you quoted only one person. No, that is only
the whole. Who was the chief of defense staff?
Okay, so chief of defense
all
staff.
Positions that mattered were filled by his people. Nigeria is bereft with nepotism. Okay. See, this is not a problem. If you get Oduduwa Nation today, all the positions will be filled by Tinubu's children and cousins.
Forget about Oduduwa Nation, Tinubu people.
I'm telling you for a fact, you don't have the resources or the organization to go up against Tinubu. Only Tinubu talk less of all the CIA machinations that will come into your nation, the MI6 foreign spies that will come and manipulate your politics. Let's just say, because when Yoruba people today are suddenly saying, especially the Yoruba people that have some money, that are Europe and America too, are suddenly saying the Femi Fani-Kayode days that have now suddenly gone to join Buhari, they are saying, oh, they are killing Yoruba people. I wonder where they are every day when Yoruba children are dying in hospitals because their parents don't have 500 naira to buy cards. Yoruba children are dying by the thousands every day because of 3,000 naira hospital bill. Do we understand that our children are dying more in hospitals than Fulani can ever kill in their lifetime? Do we care about those children? Do we care about the Yoruba children that cannot be educated? We never care about those things because those things mean that we have to act to change the status quo and really, really change our nation. The one who wants to act is the emotional one that will give us reason to go and kill other African men. I don't support such agitation. What I'm saying, if Yoruba nation agitation, because I am not in support of one Nigeria, neither. Don't get it twisted. I don't support one Nigeria. I don't support Yoruba nation because Nigeria is a farce and the Oduduwa nation is emotional. You understand? So both don't work for me. We as Yoruba people, if we are truly, truly interested in the development of our people, we will realize that our number one enemy is not the Fulani man. It's our own inability to engage with the needs of our people as soon as we get some opportunity or we get some cash. You know, nobody truly wants to engage. As I've said, we as Yoruba professionals, We are not different from the Igbo professional. We are not different from the Northern professional. As soon as we got our own side locked down, we don't care about what happens to the rest of our people. They have bad road, we have jeep. They don't have school, we have private school. They don't have hospital, we have private hospital. And if bad as it is, we'll run away and go and live in Europe or America and use our expertise there. And after we serve Oyibo man in any capacity Oyibo man wants us to serve, be it taxi driver, be it doctor, be it teacher, whatever capacity we will serve. But as soon as we come back to Africa, we will refuse to serve Africans. If we don't get political appointment or political contract, we are not working. So this is how it is. We are the ones that must decide as the professionals of Africa, whether be you Yoruba, be you Ashanti, be you Zulu, whatever it is that we are, we must publish our behavior, only minding our business, but only crying out when the business is when bad things touch us. Because what is really happening here is that all the insecurity in the country is making the country unsafe for the Nigerian professionals. If they're trying to travel, they can be kidnapped. You know, their parents and their cousins are not safe in the villages. You know, this is why they are making noise. If the problem was exclusively poor, as many of the problems in Nigeria are, you will not hear pim from anybody. They'll be laughing at the poor people going through the problem. Why can't you two pay school fees? Why can't you two pay your hospital bill? Why can't you two buy good car? I beg, don't disturb me. Why can't you go and live in good area? If they are stealing too much in your area, won't you park out? You know, those are the kind of things we say as Nigerian professionals. In fact, as Nigerian professionals, we tell poor people in Nigeria that our blessing is God-given, that we are special, that's why we are rich. That God has blessed us. It is not it's not due to our economic exploitation of the lack of opportunities that these poor people gonna need. No, it is because God has blessed us. We are more special than them. So we should stop all this because this Yoruba nation agitation is also something very sinister to act as if we Yoruba elites and professionals are not part of the problem. It is what the Hausa people are doing that is causing our country and no. We can't sell that in 2021. At least not to me.
Hausa and Fulani, there is one thing in Nigeria today, or which has been happening in the past. We mix the Hausa and Fulani together to be the same set of people. They are not. So we need to identify that each time. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to throw that to the air for everybody to understand that narrative that there is nothing like Fulani and Hausa Fulani. No. Fulani were not originally, even from Africa. Let us take it from there. We start to go through that right now. It's going to be a very long conversation. So I don't want to dwell in that. I don't want to dwell in that.
The Fulanis have been in that region for over 1,000 years. You can't tell me they are not African. They might not originally be. We as Africans that have been in Oyibo people's country for only 20 years, let them come and tell you that you are not a Brazilian when you have
we don't do what they are doing. We don't behave the way they are behaving.
And you don't have the power to, that's why. So don't blame your lack of power on the Fulani.
No, it's not a funny. I'm sorry.
In America, communities with power move with power. Like African American communities, they have no power. But look at the way the Jews move in America. The Jews move in America the way the Fulanis move in Nigeria. In places of power, they want to take, they want to grow, they want to expand. That's how the Italians are moving in America. You understand? They want to expand. You understand? That is how it is. Everybody with power in this world, especially in the capital,
those are the same.
Wants to expand.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prince Ayotunde. Thank you for your question, and I think he has answered to the extent he can. So let's go ahead. Thank you very much. He's from Ilano Odua. Thank you for representing Professor Akintoye. We also have participants from Yoruba Nation and several other agitating group. Eshiongon, Adukpepe Wapeluwa, Ìjà Oòduà ni, ìjà gbogbo wa ni, Ilé ìdíwá ṣe, Àṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Now I will ask. I will allow the vice president of South, if I'm not mistaken, in Brazil, to ask his own question. Who's also the secretary of Nigerian community, Mr. Nicholas. Can you please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyinka. We are very proud of you that you have been able to bring Sheung for another interview. I will go straight to the question. The first question I want to ask Mr. Sheung is, there is a general belief that the Oduwa nation came up because it became apparent that Asiwaju was not going to get a ticket for the next election for 2003. Is there any way we can confirm if this is true? That is my first question. Then my second question is, as you have already identified that we have a problem of intellectual content, how do we bring the intellectuals to be able to articulate political policies and economic policies that will help us to develop our country? Is there any way diaspora can come into this picture? Because I believe that with the current crop of politicians we have in Nigeria today, if there is a space that diaspora can come in and give assistance. So I want you to respond to these two questions, please.
I'll take the second one first. 10 minutes, please. 10 minutes. I'll take the first one. I'll take the second question first. Because the first question you asked, I don't really know much about, and I don't like talking about things I don't know about. You know, I'm not privy to Tinubu's plans and agenda because I'm not in his inner. I'm not in any of his circles, both inner or outer circle. So the second question you asked is the role of the diaspora in the liberation of Nigeria. You know, I feel that one of the best things that the Nigerians in the diaspora can do for Nigerians at home is to begin to help with organizational resources. You know, help with ideas to help Nigerians understand how to organize. You know, one of the games that the West plays on Nigerian people all the time is that as soon as you are beginning to show signs of leadership, show signs of being able to articulate the needs and wants of your community, they identify you as a leader. And then they take that leader abroad to train him. You know, now you can give the leader all the great training that is available in the world. But if the followers are not also politically educated, then they will not understand the message of that leader, no matter how positive it is. So we, the people in the diaspora, must understand that it's not only about sending money home so that your people can pay their bills or buy some clothes. We must also encourage our younger ones and our relatives that, oh, take this money and attend to so and so thing I heard about that is happening. I want you to understand this political, you know, I'm beginning to also inspire them in that way. In the sense that, you know, we understand that, you know, Nigerian people have been removed from politics from 1960 to 1999. That is about 40 years of political non-participation. So we are young we don't understand, you know, how we are supposed to engage with politics. And also, we don't have an elite that is trying to teach their people how to be better at understanding politics. So this is now something that we, the people, must do. Because you see, the poor people of Africa cannot afford their liberation. They cannot afford it. Meaning, I'm not saying afford it in terms of money. I'm saying they cannot afford it because they don't have the time to organize. Some people spend 8 hours a day just to go to work and back home. Just the commute, minus the 8 hours they spend at work. You understand? That's 16 hours every day to earn a living. They are too tired to organize, too tired to come together. You know, but it is us, the professionals, who have been able to gather some comfort within this oppressive system. We must be the ones willing to organize on their behalf a platform that will be able to carry the wishes and ambitions of Nigerian people and African people in general all over the world. So this is not only about Nigerians in the diaspora. The Nigerians in the diaspora, they are a great asset, but they must also be willing, because of their influence, because many Nigerians in the diaspora have big influence in their family, and they must be willing to use that influence to inspire members of their families to become more political. You know, I think that is one of the best and most powerful strengths of the diaspora.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for your response.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas. I want my co-moderator, with Madam Bakari. Are you with me there?
No, what?
With Madam Bakari. Okay, it's not there.
I don't mean to be a bearer of bad news, but I have to leave in 4 minutes. My director is losing her mind.
Okay. Please attend to the Odua Progressive Union.
I'm here. Our address. If we have 4 minutes, so.
Okay, no problem. Odua Progressive Union. Okay. Who is with Madam Bakari?
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, are you hearing me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah. Odua Progressive Union, you have oh, you are muted.
Yeah, Usman has network issues. Please move on to somebody else.
Yeah, I think so.
Or just let Sheon wrap up and go attend to it.
Okay. I think I want to allow Odua Progressive Union for the question.
Okay, let me make my question to be a short one anyway. Mr. Sheon Kuti.
Yeah, I'm not Mr. I never miss my star.
Oh, and you will never miss it in God name.
Thank you.
All right. Well, my question goes like this. I want to know, maybe you have evergreen music or album that you know from. Hello?
Use this.
Yes.
That you specifically can say, okay, yes, this is an evergreen music.
Oh
my God.
My album that I think is evergreen.
I really want to applaud.
I have Black Times. My last album, Black Times, I think is evergreen.
Yes, my idea about this. My idea about Nigeria setting.
Some people are still speaking underneath.
Hello?
Sheon, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Black Times album, I feel, is a great album that represents me perfectly. We also have a long way to the beginning. I mean, all my albums, but you can check out Black Times, which is the most recent one. But Black Times. Black Times. Okay. Anyway, I have to go now. Sorry, guys. I really enjoyed being with you guys.
And I said, okay,
hopefully,
maybe we wait.
We can do it again. Yeah, and even we can do it tonight when I'm done. If you guys still want to.
Okay.
But I need to go back and shoot now.
Thank you, Sheon, for your little time with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we cannot hold the time because we started late actually, and we cannot see how. Hello, are you hearing me, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. We will have to make another day. Yeah, we cannot get in. I don't know. Speak today. So it's been, we started late and couldn't even stay with us up to an hour. So we will have to call it a day. We thank him for the little time he spent with us. We can see he's been busy in making his video and his recording there. We use this opportunity to tell everybody here that we're going to host Professor Banji Akintoye next week. I mean, next 2 weeks, you know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we will prepare for that.
We will be on standby.
To have more time for that. So I thank everybody. I thank your presence, and I'm sorry we could not enjoy him the very manner we would want to. You can see he just came in, and I hope we have to make it a day, and some other time we try and host him again. You know. But thank you very much.
Thank you. That is fantastic of you. Keep on trying. Tim is always very busy, but it's very important that we have at least 15, 20 minutes of his time. He has made the vital contribution on his own way of contributing. To me, he's an humanitarian. His vision has his own way of doing his vision, but that does not make it reality. I just want to put it to every one of us like this, that he has his own vision. That is the way he look at things, but some of us did not look at things in that way. But I thank him for addressing us here in Brazil, and I hope every one of us a very vital Sunday, and our dear Adeyinka keep blowing this important vision of yours. We will always be with you. So thank you very much, every one of you on this platform. Our dear Madam Titi, Madam Temitope, our pastora, our doctors, and so many other people, important people on this platform. Valentine, I can see you looking down good. We love you. And many of you around that I cannot say, Omodo Agba, you are mostly welcome. Thank you very much for this wonderful Sunday that you give all of us. Thank you very, very much. So, bye-bye to every one of you, and happy Sunday. Bye.
God bless you.